A shipbuilding boom transformed this workplace into hell on earth. A story Tessa's here to explore.
Chatham is home to a remarkable cathedral-like structure. Built to house wooden warships, the roof protected their timbers from rotting. But by the mid-1800s, these huge halls were slipping into history. The age of wooden warships was over. The Navy's future was iron. Here in Chatham in 1861, they began building their first iron giant, the Achilles. Bending the metal into shape on the ship took a terrible toll on its workers. Charles Dickens came to Chatham and saw the construction of the Achilles. The sight struck him as a wild frontier, a vision of a new industrial hell. The nightmarish sounds inspired Dickens to write, "Ding, clash, dong, bang." This is, or soon will be, the Achilles. Iron, armour-clad ship, 1,200 men over her bows, over her stern, under her keel, between her decks, crawling and creeping into the finest curves of her lines, wherever it is possible for men to twist. Building in metal was always a dangerous game, where health and safety consisted of flat caps and quick hands. In the Victorian era, the welfare of workers often wasn't considered. But constructing warships was so crucial to the empire that the builders of the Queen's fleet enjoyed special care. By the mid-1800s, the health and welfare of shipbuilders had become so vital to the Royal Navy, they received medical treatment beyond the wildest dreams of everybody bar the very rich. For instance, when they were injured, they were treated by top naval surgeons. Here in Chatham, the surgeon was William Gunn. His letters detail the new perils the men faced from working with iron. Each letter is a window into the world of Surgeon William Gunn. It's almost as if he's talking to you.
The men in the metal mills work 5 nights in the week, and they are very liable to accidents from the peculiar nature of their duty. Contusions, lacerated and punctured wounds and burns, particularly of the head, hands, feet, face and eyes, are now very common. The dockyard surgery dealt with a steady stream of casualties. Medical historian Richard Biddle has seen how the shift to metalworking led to different kinds of injuries.
With wood, they're very focused on the lower half of the body because the men are using axes to chop wood. Then when they begin to use iron, if you're riveting iron plates, for example, you're up here. And so what happens is the injuries shift upwards. The old injuries continue, but injuries to the eyes and burns, eyes in particular.
And did surgeons therefore see suddenly their work quadruple, if you like?
Well, Gunn certainly talks about how the frequency of injuries go up, but he's also concerned by the new nature of injuries. They're horrific, some of them. His surgery, we ought to think about it as being a cross, I would say, between what we would think now as a GP surgery and then an accident and emergency facility.
The workers also received home care and half pay while off injured. To check up on his patients, William Gunn paid them surprise visits. Surgeon Gunn soon learned that where there are welfare benefits, there are also welfare cheats. On the 5th of October 1864, Surgeon Gunn decided to call in on a man called William Tiltman. He was meant to have been off sick for 3 months, but when he found him, he discovered he'd actually been moonlighting as a butcher. Those early benefit cheats got the sack. But plenty of genuine cases needed the special skills Surgeon Gunn developed to deal with horrific metalworking accidents.
As injuries of the eyes caused by pieces of metal have become so frequent of late, I have demanded an electromagnet.
I mean, that's a pretty clever thought, isn't it, actually?
It is, yeah. And we've actually tried to mock up an electromagnet and iron filings in an eye, which I thought would be quite interesting just to see whether this thing works or not.
Oh my God.
They're not human.
So you're going to now switch on the
I'm
power,
switching
the
on,
current.
so here we go.
Oh, look, they're just hopping out.
Incredible, isn't it?
Looks almost painless. God, there's one. You've got a stubborn one. Let's try and get that last
Go
one.
on, give it a go.
The man is screaming in agony. Yeah, sure enough.
I mean, people with eye injuries, despite what, when you read the initial accidents, appear to be very gruesome, they do go on to recover and return to work.
So they could keep bashing metal ships into shape, the Navy's new Iron Men were patched up and given privileges the public could only dream of. It took nearly 100 years and 2 world wars before free healthcare became a right for all. When servicemen began returning home in 1945, the mood of the nation was to build a Britain fit for heroes. The time was ripe for the birth of the welfare state.
On July 5th, the new National Health Service starts.
Are you sure I don't have to pay anything for all this?
Nothing. You and your family.
Do you think the work here was actually a precursor to our modern-day welfare state?
Certainly what you see in Chatham is the beginnings of a welfare state. It's a microcosm perhaps of things that happen after that. So for Chatham as a dockyard town, I think it functioned as a welfare state.
Building Britannia's ships to rule the waves was a dangerous job, but it left a legacy of welfare for workers that we all now enjoy.